Well, it was a privilege of my wife and me, Ramona's my wife, I'm Pastor Jim Mueller from South Dakota. It is a privilege of ours to join other volunteers from the Laborers for Christ with the cleanup of Hurricane Katrina. We moved for the winter of 2002 or 3, whatever it was, to Holy Trinity in Covington and Louisiana. And we were there with other couples from Laborers for Christ and offering our services to help clean up after Katrina. And in this fellowship, my responsibility was to line up projects for the next day's work. And so I would get on the phone and get acquainted with people. But one day my wife and I had the privilege of going from one spot to the other in preparation for the next day's work, meeting with these homeowners and talking to them. And we'd been told that the listening ministry was so important in caring for people who had suffered so much in this hurricane. And so it really became very clear to me how important listening as Christians is. In 5 of those meetings, within a few minutes, I knew that I wasn't there just because of the business of lining up projects, but that I was there because the Lord wanted me to be there, wanted us to be there. And within a few minutes, I was hearing the stories of these people who had lost so much, and they were in grief, but they were sharing their faith with us. And together, we could join in prayer for their particular situation and their home and their family. And it struck me so much that that evening when I rejoined our group of volunteers, I said, you know, we really need to be conscious that, yes, we are cleaning up messes, we're gutting out houses, we're moving down trees and so forth, but that's not where the important work is. That we need to remember that and recognize that we're here because our Lord wants us to be here. That our hands He wants to use as His hands and our voices as His voice. And so I said, you know, we really need to recognize that we're in a place in these people's lives where Jesus wants to be. And as such, that would be like walking on holy ground. And I was reminded of Moses. You know, God said, you're on holy ground, so take off your shoes. I told our fellow volunteers that day, you know, tomorrow we ought to work barefoot to remember that Jesus wants us here. What we're doing is work He wants done. He wants us to walk with these folks who've suffered so much a few paces and encourage them in their faith. And you know, one of the greatest benefits of volunteering that I have found, and I've heard it from so many hundreds of other volunteers, is we gain a whole lot more than what we give in helping someone else, because we're encouraged in our faith and we encourage one another. And so every day working and volunteering there at Covington, we began the day with devotions, we began each project with a prayer, and we ended it always with the common doxology, praise to the triune God. And I think that's what volunteering is all about, serving the Lord to His praise and glory and for the welfare of many. But maybe we should work barefoot.